if we can, before we leave, let me, Josh, finish telling here. Josh wanted to be a famous actor. Maybe he's not like on the Oscars and things, but he's also doing work, like something I know about him. He's the voice of Spider-Man, the action figure. That's his voice on that toy. Transformers. He just did a Transformers commercial.
Yeah, I'm the voice of Bumblebee for the Transformer commercials.
Can you do it?
Do Spider-Man.
Alright, so the Spider-Man voice is like, it's kind of cartoony, but it's like, I'm almost out of webs. Gotta make this shot count. Bullseye!
So yeah, that's really, if you go to Toys R Us, you buy the Spider-Man toy for the movie, it's his voice that you're listening to. And that's something that he had to work hard at. Go to auditions, practice the voiceovers and things like that. And you can wear Bumblebee. But you guys have to leave soon, so wear Bumblebee and then you can go.
Bumblebee sounds a lot like Spider-Man. Alright, hold on. Oh no, it's Megatron! Gotta make this shot count! Bullseye!
But that's all we want to leave you guys. Work hard in your dreams. It's possible. I'm telling you, Josh did it. You guys can do it too, man. But you guys have to think now. But welcome to the dream.
There you go.
How would I know that though?
Because when we
Got a
act
song?
Now we acting the way we share ourselves.
you want to sing it?
And we're gonna take a look at that and then see how it applies to us in our community. And as you heard, like this is a partnership. We had two organizations. One, Ward 7 Safe and Drug-Free Community. What do you think that might be about, just by hearing the name? Ward 7 Safe and Drug-Free Community. What might that be about? If you didn't know anything else.
I want people to stop doing drugs. You say.
Well, you said we want people to stop doing drugs? Why, man? Isn't that how we escape? Isn't that a good way to escape? I'm on a little weed, right? He said, yeah. But, I mean, why do we really want people to stop using drugs?
Because it
Stimulate your mind.
can mess your lungs.
Ruin your life.
Ruin your lives how?
Because like you might like abandon your children just for a high, you know, and that's not good.
Put you in deep depression.
Have you ever seen anything like that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
On TV, this lady, like she took the welfare money instead of feeding her kids, she took it and bought some drugs.
Yeah.
So that like the kids was hungry for like a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the jungle.
Oh, it's not though.
What about in the community? Like, a lot of young people, they're not like y'all. Like, I mean, it's like, you know, really like it's to escape. You know, they doing drugs to escape. They might be doing some small robberies to escape. Whatever it is to come up. What's the difference about y'all? Like, y'all talk about y'all pillars.
What? Play sports.
Y'all pillars, you said like integrity, respect, honor, commitment. You know with that? Why not?
Because I represent my own self. I don't represent them or whatever they talk about. I represent myself.
Okay, so what would you say like you represent? And the story's gonna be great, man, because we're gonna get right to that. Go ahead though. What you represent?
I represent. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do, but
You don't wanna say?
nah, I don't want to say.
Yeah.
I just keep my conversation.
That life.
Huh?
No, I'm just saying.
What life?
I don't know. Oh. But that's what we're gonna talk about. Like the Egypt is thriving. You know, we're going back what 20,000 years before Christ. There was this myth and legend about who the eagles were. And they talk about these majestic birds that flew so high that no human being had ever seen the nest that they came from. The legend had it that they were actually God's angels in bird form, and they were actually designed to actually look over and to be stewards of the entire planet. That's why they could see for like miles. So over thousands and thousands of years, they started to migrate out. Got along well with the humans and stuff. Like humans and all the species, they were like the kings. There was no problem. Then later on, what changed all that? It was this high-paid expedition. Like they paid $1 million a piece. These hunters from all over the country, because they wanted to actually hunt these birds. So they came and they came in jeeps, and the Eagles didn't know anything because they didn't have any problems with the humans. But all of a sudden they had these sniper rifles and they just started firing at them. So Eagles were falling and they didn't know how to fight the bullets. So they kind of took off. Some fell and some were wounded and injured. And they said that they would never, well, they said that man would never actually lay eyes on them again because then it was almost like a feud. They violated like the universal principles of life. So this one eagle, her name was Destiny. She was shot through both wings, so she couldn't fly any longer. Her husband's name was King. So he came down and said fly. She couldn't fly. So he established a radius that was far in the jungle so man couldn't see it, and made a kind of home for her right there. She became a leader of all the species. They came to her and she taught them how to get along, how to be leaders, and how to take care of the environment, and everything was going well. He would come back once every 2 weeks to see everything was going. They had five other children that would also have leadership positions through the skies because eagles would fly for hundreds of miles. They took care of a wide range. There were no predators. There's nothing would ever hunt an eagle. So as it went on, one time King came back and Destiny actually had a surprise for him. She was going to tell him that she was having twins, but she was waiting like it was going to be a big surprise. So he came and they talked, and he actually saw about 10 miles down the road that machines were actually tearing down trees. And Destiny said, don't really worry about it now because it's enough for everybody. Surely they won't come this far. So he left. But, as when they didn't know the machines, they was just harvesting trees. So they was taking it down. It was a development project. They were going to build a big mall and a music park, all kinds of stuff. So they came further and further and further until they could see straight through the tree line to the actual machine. So the other species came and said, like, what do we do? What do we do? They said, run. So it was almost like the tree. When the levee broke and the water came down, they didn't know what to do. So they all got together in a circle of prayer. And they just prayed because they thought that was going to be the end of their lives. So something happened all of a sudden. And the machine stopped tearing down the forest. And it was a group of environmentalists that said that this was it was an area, preserved basically, so they couldn't go any further. But at that point, it was so close that they were vulnerable. So they noticed this female eagle, and they went and they thought they were helping because they said, look, I'm gonna take you back to our preserve. We have a place for you. But they didn't know that she had 2 eggs because she was having twins. So she fought, she pecked, she scratched, anything she could do to stop them. So they thought that it was because of the abuse or something happened. So they went afar, grabbed a dart gun, and they shot and tranquilized her. So she fought and fought and fought until she actually was knocked out. So they put her in a cage and they started to take her out to this preserve they had laid up. And then they noticed she had 2 eggs, which were the twins. And they didn't know what to do, so they said, we just take them right now. So they went back, and then, again, Destiny was still asleep, and they had all these chickens because they also had this chicken farm where, they had harvested chickens, and they saved them because they had them in these little cages, and they were just in horrible conditions. But they had a whole chicken farm in the hen house and stuff. So they decided to put these eagle eggs under this hen. They say, well, and the hen was very proud because they had these big, majestic eggs under, so she would take care of them with their life. So Destiny woke up, and she saw that she didn't have her babies, and she just went crazy. She was pecking at the cage, just trying to free herself from the cage. They didn't know what was wrong. They said maybe she has rabies or something because they were trying to help. But they said that we don't know what to do, so they said they want to put her to sleep. So she didn't understand human speak, what they call a human language. So she went further and just thought by anger and frustration they would understand that something else was wrong. She wanted her babies. But they didn't understand it, they didn't get it, so they actually put her to sleep. They took her and they actually killed Destiny. At this time, King had come back and talked to some of the species that were left as it were happening. They said the men came and took her, the humans came and took her. So he was looking for miles. All this time he's looking for destiny. He's going through all the quadrants of the planet looking for her. So later, the eggs hatched, and these two eagles were hatching these chickens, and the eagles believed that they were chickens. And the hens were proud. The hen was proud, like look, like it's my babies, but this didn't fit in, like, you know. So they started coming up. They didn't look like the other chickens, so they were actually being joned on by the other chickens. So they tried to, you know, they overcompensated by actually acting more like chickens than anything. Like, you know, they didn't know they were ground birds, so they didn't fly. They didn't do anything. They waddled in the dirt. They ate worms. Everything else the chickens do, that's what they did. So one day they were out. This was their kind of their teen years for what birds would be, and they had this teen party, and they was out there, and they was dancing and stuff. And well, anyway, King came by. He was like miles away, and he looked, and he did this thing like, man, it can't be. So he came closer and closer. He saw these two eagles dancing with a bunch of chickens, and he couldn't believe it. So he started to come down. They felt the wind. It was like a storm. They saw the shadow. They covered the sun, and they didn't know this was a giant bird, so they all ran. All the chickens ran, but the two eagles were a little slower because they couldn't actually they were dancing and stuff, like, you know what I mean? And so they couldn't really get there fast enough, so he blocked them. And he said, like in a real loud voice that roared, the bird said, "What are you doing? Who are you? What are you doing with these chickens?" So one of the eagles was like, you know, he just was kind of shaking and looking. The other one had already ran. So by the time he came in, it was big cackling going on in the hen house. It was like, man, like, you know. And he said, "What are y'all cackling about? Like, we had to fight for our lives. Like, you know, why didn't y'all save us?" But the talk was, y'all, they look kind of like that bird that was attacking us. Like, what's going on? So nobody wanted to really say anything. But this one elder hen who saw the whole thing happen, she said, "No, tell them boys who they are." And he's like, one eagle was like, "Who am I?" The other one went on and said, "I'm a chicken. So I don't care what y'all say. Y'all can't, you know, you, look, I'm one of you. Like, I've been with you my whole life." The other one was like, "Look, the elder hen said they killed your mother. That bird is your family." And so the one eagle wanted to know who he was. He didn't know more chicken stuff. No more junk, like whether it was pecking like it's hot. Whatever it is, well, he wasn't doing it no more. He said, he's not doing it no more. He said, I can't, you know. So, but the other one was like, he went completely off. He was straight chicken, everything. Well, it was straight chicken, so. Like King told him, King promised that he would be back. He came back again. Same thing, the wind, the shadow covered the entire sun. So he came back, and the one eagle stayed out. The other one ran behind the hen and said, don't let him get me. So he said, like, what are you doing here? He said, I don't know. And he explained what the elder hen told him. Look, they said our mother was killed and we were brought here. He said, I don't know. He was like, "You're my son!" And he just shook him. Like, he's like, oh my God. He's like, "You're my father." It's like, "You're my father." And he held him up. The son, he said, "I'm going to call you Manifest." And he named him Manifest. And he told him all about the history of eagles, the sciences of the sky, the history of the water, the mysteries of the land. He told him everything about it, and he was just fascinated. He's like, "Get your brother." So the called him, said, "Come on out." He would not go anywhere. Then finally, the elder hen kind of kicked him out. So he was out there. He was scared to death and shaking. And at the same time, the other eagle was flying. He never knew. He never knew because he never flapped his wings. Now, when the other eagle, he called him out. He came out. He said, "Look, you know, you're an eagle." He said, "No, I'm not." He said, "Yes, you are. You're an eagle." He said, "Why do you want to be a chicken?" He was like, "I don't know." He was like stunned. So we said, "Fly." So he tried, but he couldn't get up. He said, "Fly." He tried again. He couldn't get up. So he said, "Fly, you eagle." He said, still he couldn't get up. So then he just yelled at him to the point he said, "Fly!" At that point, he just got so scared he jumped up. He jumped so high that you couldn't even see him. Like nobody saw, like he went that high actually in the sky. So then he started free falling. King thought he was free falling, so he flew up. It's like, flap your wings. He said, I don't know how. He said, flap your wings. He said, I don't know how. So finally he flapped his wings, and it was the most beautiful glides you ever seen. He just went, and I mean, he was going everywhere. To the point he went through the hen house and was chasing the chickens and all that. Y'all, he was really getting into being an eagle. So all the commotion caused the keepers. The keepers are the people that watch the land. They can't hear what it was, so they got their guns and came up to see what the commotion was. They came in about 4 or 5 jeeps. Now there was one keeper that was an ex-hunter. I don't know why he was a keeper, because he shouldn't have been in the preservation. He was an ex-hunter, so really he has a history of killing animals. The other keeper was a native. He was an elder Native American that had been with the earth and everything. So they came, and he came back, and so immediately the one that had been an ex-hunter grabbed his gun and pointed right at King. He was going to kill him. He said, look, he shot 2 shots in the air and was like, you better leave our reservation. Those are our eagles. And the elder, the Native American keeper told him, said, he's come to get his kids, put the gun down. He's come to get his children. And this time, King was still going through the process of explaining the other eagle he was, and he named him Hope. And he named him Hope. He held him up. He said, your name is Hope. He said, put him down. He said, your name is Hope, because you'll never leave your brother, like you never leave your brother without understanding who he is. And that was the conversation. He's like, we're not gonna, because they could have left already and left him there. So anyway, they went further, and he had the gun pointed at him, and they didn't know what to do. So he's like, look, man, and King was explaining to him, if he kills me, y'all fly off. So it got real tense. And they were talking, he said, look, he cocked the thing back. He's like, look, if you don't leave, I'm going to kill him. So the elder native keeper was telling him to stop. At that time, the same way that, again, the other eagle named Hope now, same way he jumped before when he was scared, he jumped up, he came down, and he just went slamming to the keeper's nose, to the point where it just like, he almost like broke his nose, he couldn't see, and the gun went up in the air. And then Manifest, he jumped up and he went and he hit it with his hand. Actually, the beak went straight through his hand. So he yelled for the other keepers, like, help us, help me. But some of them raised their guns, other ones didn't. So at the end, they put their guns down and he said, come on, fly, and they actually flew. And the story that Hope became the chief engineer of the entire skies and in charge of engineering and history. King sat on the throne for all the eagles, and Manifest was the one that took everyone through the rites of passage. And that's the story. It's called the Eagle's Maze. And as we talk about, why, the questions become why, what happens when an eagle is forced to live as a chicken? And that's the first question. And we put out to y'all, what happens when that's the occurrence? What happens when an eagle has to live with chicken? What happens? Messes the mindset. How? Supposed to be flying, then you're on the ground. What if it's cool not to fly? What if they say that it's lame to fly and you actually an eagle? Live.
Does that mean it's cool to be a chicken?
It's cool to be a chicken. So what happens when it's cool to be a chicken? What happens to the eagle?
They won't fly.
Okay, they won't fly. What else? What do they do?
The eagles get mad.
Eagles get mad. Do they get mad? It's supposed to be brave because they act like chickens in the butt. You want to say something?
I was just saying, the eagle is going to act like a chicken.
The eagles will act like a chicken, right? So the eagles start imitating the chicken. So in our communities, say for example, say you were destined to be mathematicians and engineers and architects, and definitely the sciences, that you were destined to be that because, that's your lineage and your heritage. What if you didn't know that? And somebody, instead of that, they said that you're supposed to be gangsters. That's cool. Gangsters, entertainers. And that's really it, gangsters and entertainers. Like, what do you think would happen in the community? Be much of chaos, like, yeah. What else would happen? People was, what you saying?
Like violence all around the world.
It'd be violence around the world.
And destruction.
So you think that if it was cool to be a gangster, that people would be killing each other? What you saying? Yeah. What if it was cool to be to just talk about it or to rap about it? What if it was cool to rap about it? Would that influence? What would that do? Would it cause anything? Yeah.
If it was cool to rap about being gangster, but you're not really gangster, then everybody rap about it doing. I mean, not rap about it doing it, just rap about it. Like
Okay.
people do it, a lot of people do it. And people who don't do it are seen as not cool, black, champ or something like that.
Okay. Now, let's see who can do this. Like, who can connect the Eagle story to the communities today? Who can connect that? Like, the eagle and the chicken and well, first, what would chicken behaviors be if you were human? What would chicken behavior be?
Stay.
Yeah,
You said they couldn't fly, right?
couldn't fly,
They was like stay in the house a lot.
stay in the house, on the ground.
You said,
What would it be like? Apply it now. Like, say that. Let's take just y'all for example. Say all y'all were eagles, right? But y'all were placed in situations that chicken behavior was cool. Like drugs was cool, violence was cool, like all the wrong things. Your destruction, jail was cool, and say that's the chicken piece. So what would happen placing y'all in those environments? Yeah.
Oh, you know, I mean, Eagles, they stick to their morals and their keys and they have integrity. Just because somebody not right there with you, to like, trying to make sure you're good, are you gonna do it for yourself and just make sure that you on top of what you gotta do? And not gonna follow the chicken because they know like where they come from and what they stand for.
Okay, so, and you say it's different with y'all because y'all know who y'all are. So y'all told me y'all came in here, y'all gave me all the other stuff about like who y'all are. What about young people who don't know? What happens to them? The ones who don't know that they're eagles and they well, what happens to them? What do you think? You said they do the wrong thing? Like what? Stealing, drug dealing, like you say they fall because they don't know who they are. So who informs them that they're eagles? Like who would it be? Who's the king for them? Like who comes back to let them know who they are, what they're supposed to be doing? The parents? Do they do that? Mentors and stuff? Does that happen in the community?
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
Like,
Give me some examples.
You got parents, so you got some people that figure out for themselves who they are.
Yeah. Does that happen more or not? Like, I mean, a lot of times, like, what we seeing out there now, we're seeing young people, even before school, they're finding who they gonna smoke with, or they gonna drink with before they go. Like, they wouldn't even go if that doesn't happen. They plotting, they're working on. It's like, give me a move. Like, I need a move on a come up. Like, that's what they think about. That's the whole piece. Like, all the time. And if you're not into it, like, why is it? Like, who tells them that it's another way? Or where did they get that from? Now, first, do y'all find it accurate? Do you see that that's going on? Like, you come, you gonna see a group of young people. They're gonna be smoking weed. You actually gonna smell it. You know people drinking. You know who's popping pills. You see it all the time. Like, we don't talk about it, but we see it in communities every day. So, who tells them though? Like, cause you're here. Like, y'all, you're in uniform and stuff. Like, even if you had your experiences, still, it's a reason. So obviously, even with you, who knows what's going on, but still, it's something inside you to say, look, man, like, I do want something else. You know what I mean? outside of everything else, like, and you know, who knows? Because, you know, everybody got a situation, you know? But still, the fact that you here, and who, you know, that means a lot. So, but who, you know, how do you find that, you know, how do you find that out? Can it change the community? Will our communities change? Can they change? You believe that?
But you gotta change yourself first.
Yeah. Will people willing to do that? Are they willing to do that?
Some people
I don't know.
Like, what about you? Would you be willing to change yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. How y'all feel about that? Like, do you think like y'all can change it? Like, you say like a friendship, like y'all could actually get together and say, look, man, we ain't going for it no more. Like, you know, everybody who got guns, y'all gotta put them down. Like, you know what I mean? You know, we not going for it no more, so ain't nobody carrying no more guns.
They're not gonna follow
Put
up.
their gun down.
What's that?
Put them down, put their gun down.
They don't. That's what I'm saying. It gotta be done. Before it be done, they gotta put their guns down. Because if not, if you know some people who walk around and they got guns, that may influence you to have one because you say they got one. So it'll never end. So will people put their guns down?
Then they be like,
What's that?
then they be like.
Explain.
Then we know.
I'm understanding. Hey, why? You know why? So not having it, you be loafing.
Yeah. Get caught.
You get caught without it. So you had to know that they put theirs down for you to put yours down.
Yeah.
You gonna put yours down first?
Nah.
No? Well, anybody? How y'all feel about that? If you had one, like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, so that you know, if you had one, and you know other people had guns, but you put yours down first and say, look, mine's down, so, you know what I mean, you said to kill me. Do you believe that hard about it, huh?
Yeah, like, you know, the right time to have it.
What's the right time to have it?
I mean, might not be a right time, but you know, yeah, like, right place, right time.
Should anybody have it?
If
Said no?
I mean, well, so decent.
Like that.
Bears and wolves. When last time you seen a bear? When the last time you seen a bear? What about a wolf? When last time you seen a wolf, a real wolf?
That's what I said. It was like last week when it was a friend 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
About 2 years ago? Yeah. That's what I'm thinking about. Yeah. Why don't y'all a video actually is done? Now, where y'all from?
Where y'all from?
Denver?
Princeton.
Okay.
And who's the crew?
Yeah, all from this area. We're gonna show you a video that captures something like it's some of the local artists in this area. It's just put together to see like what's that?
Got Leslie on there? Nah, I ain't got no one.
Yeah, that's your man.
Nah, ain't my man. I remember.
Yeah, I can do it. Okay. All right.
In my mind, you know, man, if I could give y'all anything, I'll tell y'all this. And I told a young girl this today, that even though if you don't see positive change in your neighborhood, and a lot of times you ain't gonna see it coming from anybody, a lot of times you're not gonna see it coming from other positive examples. And it starts right here. What's going on in your mind, things that you feed yourself. Like if you see yourself, whatever you see yourself as, it's coming from the words that you tell yourself. If you don't love yourself, it's because you're not telling yourself you love yourself, or you're not hearing that enough. A lot of times we suffer from self-esteem issues. We don't speak up, we're not really confident in ourselves because we're not putting that in our minds. Once you start telling yourself first that you love yourself, or that you are confident, I am self-confident. I'm going to tell y'all this about leadership. Leadership is a 4-rung ladder. And at the bottom of the ladder is the most important aspect of the ladder. What you think of what it is? Just tell me what you think. Courage. That's an aspect, y'all. That's definitely an aspect, y'all. But what it is responsibility. That's an aspect of it. It's all combined. Mine. You got something? Got something? I'm gonna tell you what it is though. It's self-love. It's self-love. You gotta love yourself. If you don't love yourself, you can't be a leader. Because in order to be a leader, you have to love others. So you start off with self-love. After self-love, you got self-esteem.
Is there, excuse me, sir, is there David Quarles in here? David Quarles?
Yeah, after self-love, you got self-esteem. And then you got self-leadership. And then you got leadership at the top of the ladder. And each one depends on each other. So at the bottom of it, your base, your core, in your life. If you don't have this, or if you do have this, it's always good to strengthen it. Tell yourself every day. I'm telling you it works. Say to yourself every day that you love yourself. Say it 5 times in the morning, 5 times in the evening before you go to bed. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. The things that you constantly put in your mind is what you become. Before you know it, man, you'll be able to be a leader, not like any other kind of leader. You'll be the type of leader who can really bring positive change, who really bring that change to your neighborhood. Say you want to see guns, and you wouldn't put your gun down first? If I know somebody's going to shoot me or cause harm to me, I probably wouldn't either. I probably wouldn't put my gun down first either. But I would try to appeal to somebody or to that person. Can we come together? Can we leave the guns alone? Can we do that together? Because the last thing you want to do is kill yourself. When I look at y'all, I look at myself. Because I know that all soul starts with one soul. Everybody comes from one person. It starts off with 2 parents. Then we got brothers and sisters, nieces and nephews, grandchildren, and we all come from one thing. So when I see y'all see me, I don't want to harm you. I don't want you to harm me. I want to respect you, and I want you to respect me. I want to love you, and I want you to love me. That's it.
All right. This would have been Dan. He's also working with us, coming from Minnesota. Minnesota. Yeah, also like a graduate student at Howard University.
Oh.
And we got brother Mr. David Nellis.
You said what college?
He's at Howard University also. They actually go to school together at Howard University. And brother David Nellis is a media kind of genius, like at least.
My wife doesn't think so.
Yeah. But he was also his expertise is, and you might want to talk to him too, is in marketing and media and stuff like that. Brother Cecil in the back, he works with also. Long-time resident of Ward 7. He grew up River Terrace, right?
Right.
Grew up River Terrace. All right. Now this is one thing. Like when we talk to people about the community, there's a side that they don't see. They say without understanding it, you'll never understand it. So this is kind of like what communities look like when resident managers and these people stuff go home. So we'll look at that. Then we're gonna look at a different video. Well, I'm a psychologist by trade. Grew up in Washington, D.C., an area called Simple City. Over there, I went to Bowie State on a basketball scholarship at the University of Cincinnati for grad school. And I finished up at University of Lagos in Nigeria. That's where I got my doctorate in psychology. I taught for about a year at University of Cincinnati. I taught for 2 years at University of Lagos in Nigeria. And I came back and found an organization called Higher Hopes. We work in the community with young people and families because we trying to change the cycle. You see, I know what I saw when I was growing up, and I looked at the younger generations and said, pretty much, man, it's the same thing over and over again. So we said, some kind of way, man, we got to put something together to actually shift it and give something else, at least for those who want it, so they see another way out. With Ward 7 Safe and Drug-Free Communities, it's pretty cool. So I have Brother Muhammad, introduce yourself, Brother Dan, and seek surrounding stuff. You got Muhammad.
All right. My name is Muhammad Abdul Malik. I go to Howard University. I'm in graduate school in social work. And I grew up right here in Southeast DC, Ward 7. So yeah, that's me.
My name's Dan. I'm also a graduate student at Howard University. I just moved here from Minnesota. I'm really excited to work with Dr. Lewis over there, and hopefully you guys will really enjoy what he has to say.
I also am a member of Higher Hopes. I am the Director of Development, and I'm really happy to be here with you guys today.
Also grew up in Ward 7, area called River Terrace. He grew up over there. So, we'll get started. Tell us a little about what what separates y'all from other people. Like, what's it mean to be a friendship, man? Who are y'all?
We are knights.
Tell me what that means. You play football, huh? Okay, so you into something, man, when you said that, man. Like, what you into, man?
I mean, we just stand here.
Ain't know you was in there. All right. We are knights. What's that mean, man? That sounds good. We are knights. Like that, what's that mean? And you ain't feeling the nice thing, huh? You like, man,
Just cool.
just cool. What does it mean to be nice?
We strive to be successful.
Okay, how?
By going to school.
That's it? Just go to school? Come on, tell me, man. Tell me. What else? Okay, go to school.
Graduating for college.
Okay. Y'all ready for college?
Not just yet.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Pretty much all y'all, that's what y'all doing, y'all going to college?
Yes, sir.
That's the plan.
That's the plan? Okay. This is collegiate, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just regular, this is a Friendship Collegiate Academy, right? So really all y'all going to college pretty much, right? Do y'all feel that? For real? No? Tell me, what's the feeling? Don't feel like. Y'all feel like y'all going for real or what? Or do you feel like I don't really know, it sounds good, but I'm getting kind of scared right now? What is it?
Nah, it ain't nobody scared. We just don't want to have to go through school again. 'Cause we already been there 12 years of school, then we gotta do school again after we just leave school. Ain't nobody trying to do all that.
For real?
But then, in order to better yourself, then you probably gonna have to go to college. That's the only reason why I would go.
Oh yeah, man. College is so much different, man. Like mostly those who go, like I can say, like the best years of my entire life, it gets different, man. I mean, you take care of your schoolwork. It's just the most free kind of situation you ever experienced, man. You can experience, freedom to do whatever, man. You take care of your schoolwork. Parents so happy because you going there, man. You get some good grades. You can have you had the best time. I'm not gonna talk about what but you had the best time of your life, man. For real, you really will. What's your feeling about it, Muhammad? Like the undergrad experience? You went to Morgan State.
Like you said, it's completely different. And then when you get there, where y'all now in high school, looking forward into your future, that's what you should always do. That's what I did when I decided to go to Morgan. What you really want to do, man, is be able to take care of yourself. And if you got the mindset of I want a family, you plan on having a family, you want to be able to take care of them with no problems, and you don't want them to have to worry about struggles that they shouldn't have to go through, like how I'm going to eat tonight, or is the water going to be hot tonight. You don't want them to worry about that. And that's the reason why I decided to go to college. And once you get there, you're going to see that you're going to have to put in some more years. You're going to have to go to grad school, put in some more years. But the plan, man, is to have, he said, you want to have freedom. And not just any kind of freedom. You want to be free from the struggles that you don't have to go through. And that's what college gave me. That's what college is giving me. Opportunities that I wouldn't have if I didn't go. You can have those same things. You just go. And the time will go past so fast. I'm telling you. It go past so fast. 4 years, it seems like a long time. But when you there, you be a third year. You be a junior there. You didn't even know how you got there. And then you get support, too, from your friends. And like he said, how his parents was so proud of him. That's the feeling that you, man, to know that you be able to take care of your parents in their old age. That's a feeling, man, that it's hard to express. To know that you be able to take care of your kids when they growing up and they need food, your wife needs food, it's a feeling that you just can't express. So, I would say, man, go. Don't even consider anything else. If you don't have to, go to school. If you having troubles paying for it, join the Marines. Let them pay for it. And, just take it serious because this is your life. So that's what I gotta say about college, man. It's freedom. It's true freedom, true financial freedom. You be stress free. You have the stresses, but with difficulty comes ease. When you accept the difficulty, you gotta accept the difficulties in order to get the ease. That's what I gotta say. And I hope that, man, I hope that opens up y'all minds. Because there's so many things you can do that you just can't see right now.
Unlimited potential. You go to college, you can decide what you want to do, and you can change that, and you can try all kinds of different things, but you can be anything that you want to be. If you set your mind to it, there's a program out there for you, and you're going to be able to, like I said, just do whatever you want to do.
So today we're going to talk about, actually I just finished this book. It's called The Eagle's Maze. It's an adaptation of it's an African proverb of the chicken and the eagle, but we'll get to that. But the goal really, from everything that we do, and again, like I'm a psychologist by trade, so I mean really my interest is, what do you think? And why do we do what we do? And that's what we get to at the end of it. Like, why is it that our community looks the way that it looks? And I know I think I have 57 Rest in Peace T-shirts, and I could have had more. That's when I just started collecting them. Right now I got 57, and that's 57 young brothers that I knew personally that aren't here anymore. They're not here because they fell victim to what's going on out here in the streets, and that's real, man. I mean, like, nobody talks about them anymore. They did initially. They went to the wakes and they had little parties at the wakes, and everybody talking how they gonna remember them forever. Then there's no more talk about it. It's just a T-shirt that nobody remembers at this point. So the opposite is what y'all told me earlier: is y'all writing letters back, sending pictures of y'all first party in college, or that first A, and that first semester that y'all finished, and you know what I mean? The difference is amazing. But I know right now that if you're not excited about it, it ain't gonna happen. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you, because you say I want to be a doctor. Oh, way to go, John! Yeah, everybody claps, and okay, that's it. That's where it ends. It's some things you gotta do if you want to be a doctor. Some serious things you got to put in place. If you want to be an architect, there's some things you got to put in place. Y'all should be in here when people go home and on learning the graphic arts and getting asking questions about, because that's what you into. Same way, like if you really wanted to play ball, I would see you before school shooting 105 shots. You got to compete. Only 26 people every year get into the NBA. If you wanted to do it, then to compete, I would see that behavior. If I don't see that behavior, I'm like, man, what's going on? What's going on? So, at Friendship Collegiate Academy, what else can y'all be excited about? You don't say it. That's the sign right there. It's like one person, college, man, like, hey, we got to talk about this again for real. For real. So in the story, what happens is that it's first, it goes into like the history of who Eagles were. Like, I mean, this is before like 25,000 BC. It was like when it was just the Incas, the Mayans, the Aztecs, and the Egyptian tribes and stuff on the planet. Pretty much, there was this myth of these majestic birds, and they were captured as pictures on hieroglyphics and different things. They were just captured like that. They said they were actually God's angels in bird form. And man had never seen where they actually stayed, because they stayed so high in the sky, and they had vision that would go for like 20 miles. And they could see everything. Like they had vision. So over time, they started to migrate into the planet. But they had a good relationship with humans and other species. There were no predators. Everybody got along. It was about being stewards of the planet. But thousands and thousands of years later, it was this expedition. And I was going to these expeditions because they wanted to shoot these birds that they heard about. So they came in these jeeps and they had sniper rifles, and the Eagles didn't know because they didn't have no beef with humans. So they looked up and they started shooting. And then you see where the bullets coming from. The Eagles didn't know what bullets were, but they started taking them down. And at that point, they made a pact and said that man would never see us again. But one female eagle, eagle name was Destiny. She was shot in both wings. And her husband's name was King. So King came down, he carved out a spot for her on land because she couldn't fly anymore, so she go back. And she started to make a life right there. And so she became a leader within that whole community. And all different species would come to her and learn, like, look, this is the ways of the forest, this is how you lead, this is how we all work together. So King came back, she had a surprise for him. She was having twins, but she didn't tell King. King would come back every couple of weeks and take care of his eagle stuff. So as they went forward, like one time he saw for like 20 miles down, it was these machines, and they were tearing down the forest. And he was like, no, we need to move. She said, don't worry, there's enough trees for everybody. It's not going to come this far. So he went back.
Pardon interruption. This message is for all 9th and 10th grade advisory teachers. At this time, please move to your appropriate location to retrieve your students to escort them to their next location. Again, all 9th and 10th grade teachers, please retrieve your students and escort them to their next location.
Okay. So like
9th grade advisory teachers should report to the auditorium. 10th grade advisory teachers should report to the cafeteria.
So, long story short, machines got close. Other species asked what to do. It's almost like the levee in Katrina, like when it flashed, like everybody was gone, and so everybody escaped. They tried to run and stuff. A lot of animals were killed, but they had to stop because when environmentalists came, they said like this is a preservation. But what happened? They saw that it was an injured eagle, and they wanted to take her back to a spot they had made out for her, but she wasn't willing to go because she had babies and she knew what they're doing. So she pecked and she fought, she scratched them at a point where, so they went back and they thought they were doing the right thing, but they shot her a tranquilizer and put it, and knocked her out, put her in a cage, brought her back. They saw that she had eggs, they didn't know what to do with them, so they just brought them back. Now they had a whole chicken farm basically, hen house and everything, so they said, we'll put the eggs under hen. Hen was real proud because they had these majestic eagle eggs, so she felt like she was the head of the hen house. So Destiny woke up. She saw she didn't have a baby, so she clawed and tried to break out of that cage. And they didn't know what she was doing. She thought maybe she had rabies. She said, if she don't stop, we're going to kill her. So she kept that up, and she thought that maybe because she didn't understand human speak or human language, that if she fought and clawed, that they would know something was wrong, and they would know that there was her babies, but they didn't, and they shot and killed her because they thought she was just like she was mad. So as it went on, the eagles were born under these hens with all these chickens. So they thought they were chickens. So they imitated what was going on. They pecked and they ate worms and they waddled in the dirt and everything else the chickens do. So they got older, and one time they was out at this actually it was like a team dance for chickens, and they was partying. They saw that they were dancing, and so King actually all this time King has been searching for miles, like different radios trying to find Destiny. He don't even know Destiny's dead. So he looks down, he sees like he can't believe it. He said no. So he goes down like miles further, looks again. Then he gets close. He's like, is this eagles? He sees these eagles dance with all these chickens. He don't understand what's going on. So he comes down, and the wingspan, they never seen anything like it. The wingspan is so long that it blocks the sun. The wind from them flying feels like a storm. So everybody's running. All the chickens are running. They scared. They think he's coming attacking them. So he blocks the two eagles, and he's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing with these chickens?" And they don't even know what he's talking about. It's like, so they scared to death. But this time the keepers, they come and they shoot two in the air, and he's like, "I'll be back." So he flies up and they go back. So this time the chickens are cackling, everybody's talking. They said, "What's this talk about?" They said, "Y'all look a lot like that eagle that was right there. This giant bird." So the one eagle, one of the sons, he's really paying attention. He's like, I never felt right as a chicken anyway. Other one's like, I'm a chicken. Like, don't try to tell me I'm nothing else. So it goes on, so one eagle, he stops all the chicken stuff. He ain't eating no more worms. He ain't wilding in the dirt. And the young, like he ain't not doing the dances, nothing. He's not nothing, no more chicken like. The other one's overcompensating. He's chickened out all the way. So King comes back, and again the wind, the shadow, and all the other. Everybody goes. They run to the hen house, and so does one eagle, but one eagle stays out. And he asks him, "What are you doing with those chickens?" He's like, "I don't know." So the elder hen told him a story, like, you know, but nobody believed it when they walked back in about the fact what happened to his mother and stuff. So he just tells the eagle, say, "Look, they say our mother was killed, was brought here, we was raised. I don't know who I am." So he says then, and he yells out, he's like, "You my son!" Tripping, and he's like, "You're my father." He's like, you know, they father. So he holds him up. He's like, "I'm gonna name you." He names him Manifest. He said, "Your name is Manifest because you're marked for greatness." And he teaches him about the algebra, engineering of the skies, the history of the lands, the geometry of the seas, and all about like all the signs, everything he's supposed to know. So he's so excited. He said, "You can fly." He jumps. He's flying and everything. All the time, like all the hens and other, they looking out and they're like, "What's going on?" They see this stuff. You know, he's flying and stuff. It's like, "Hey, you know." The other eagle's like, "I don't want to do that anyway. I'm gonna fly anyway." So this time the elder hen kicks out the other eagle. It's like, "Look, man, go find out who you are." So he's out, now he's out. He says, "Come here." So he walks over like he's scared to death. He's like, why are you like a chicken? He said, "I'm a chicken." He said, "You're not a chicken." So he's like, "Fly." He yells at him, "Fly, fly, fly." He said, "I can't fly." He yells at him so loud that it shakes him, and he jumps. And he flies so high, nobody can even see him. But now he's free falling because he don't know how to flap his wings. So King goes up. He's like, "Look, man, flap your wings." He said, "You're going to die." So he don't flap his wings, don't flap his wings. And finally he flaps his wings and he just glides and flies. And he can't believe it. And that he's actually really an eagle. So while they playing this stuff, all this commotion, the keepers get wind of this. So they coming in their jeeps now. And there's one keeper that's an ex-hunter. Who knows why he's a keeper? He's an ex-hunter. He's killed many animals. So he's like, "Look, I'm killing him." So he pulls a rifle out and he has it aimed at King's right at his chest. The other keeper is an elder, like Native American, like he's been with the land and stuff, taking care of everything. He's like, "Look, put the gun down. He's here to get his children." So it's big tension. Same time, he said, "No, like he's got to go." And then I think he looked at him and he went up and he jumped in the air and he went down. It was attack and Manifest and other eagle. He named him Hope. They basically came and they actually attacked the keeper and they gun with him in the air and he asked for help. Nobody would help him, and they actually understood like at that point who they were, and they thanked the elder hen. But as they flew up, they reflected and thought about like what they was doing. And that is where like the story goes off into what are we doing. So what happens is that we say like, what if, and let's say you for example, let's just say like specifically this group, what if you were put into a community that it was, say the chicken stuff was drug sales, you're killing each other, everything negative, say that was the chicken behavior, right? And you were destined to be engineers, architects, lawyers, doctors, but you ain't know, and you were placed in the community, what would happen? Question, what would happen? What would happen if you were placed in that kind of situation?
Start acting like that.
You start acting like that. What if it's cool to be a chicken? I mean, what if it's cool to be a chicken and you're an eagle? What do you do?
Rise above.
Some do. Like, y'all are here. You know what I mean? Y'all are here versus a whole bunch of other things you can be doing. Like right now, there's other brothers that they popping pills right now, so they ain't coming to school. They got smoked out to the point where they just ain't come. They show up whenever they want to. Like, you know what I mean? I know brothers that they won't even go to school unless they can smoke before they come. And unless that happens, they're not going nowhere. Other people looking for a move or come up, It's like, come on, gotta move for me, man. Whatever it is, like, you know, man, in and out, DYRS and EJS, man, like on the books and stuff, and it's every day. And it's like, that is the hen house. That's the whole chicken field. So if you're doing it, if you're an eagle, like, how you get caught up? Like, you know, who is the king? Like, King came here to inform them who you are. Like, he told them, like, you're an eagle, and they knew that by flying. Who's king for y'all?
The parents.
Parents? Okay. They should be. What about for those who don't have, like, their parents, like, you know, they don't have that?
Maybe somebody could look up.
Maybe like who? Who would it be?
Role models.
Yeah. Are they around for everybody? I mean, like, in the community, do you see them in the community? No. What do you think that is?
They're scared.
They scared? Yeah, why would they be scared?
Because they don't know how to lead.
Deep. Yeah. Well, what do y'all think, man? Like, what's going on in the community, man? Why is it? Why are y'all allowed to do what y'all do? And it may not be specifically y'all, but y'all know when I say y'all, I'm talking about everybody. It may not be y'all specifically. But why are y'all allowed to do that, man?
They don't care.
They don't care.
They're trying to pick us off one by one, so why not just let us do what we want to do?
Yeah. But if you convince, if I can convince you that you're a chicken, then at some point you're gonna come. Like, if I'm the jail keeper, say the keepers are the jailers. You know what I'm saying? They're the jailers. If I convince you a chicken, I'll just wait for you. Because you're going to be doing chicken behavior, so you got to come. You got to come at some point. You going to get late. Like, there's no way. Like, there's no way to get away with it over time. So once you're in that system, and I can punch you in, and once I punch you in, now we already know we are all the way through. Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, the question being, like, well, one, like, and you say it's like that because they don't care, like, do y'all care about that at this point? Or is it just normal for y'all? Say again? It's just normal?
Part of everyday life.
Should it be?
That's how it is. You get immune to it after a while.
Well, yeah. Can it be changed?
Of course.
How so? How we change?
How can we change?
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody, how would you like say like it wasn't just a conversation. Say I had $100,000 for whoever, you know what I mean, whoever had the strategy that would change it. What would you say? What would you say to get the 100,000?
Where 100,000 at?
What I'm saying, like let's say it was there. Like what would you say about it though? Okay, like when 100,000, could you do it?
Everybody start with this too.
Yeah. What would you do? Start with yourself. I mean, what would that look like? Yeah. Okay.
Can't change the world, we have to change ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Like, what we gonna do now? We're gonna look at this. How much time we have? You know what time?
It's just 25 to 12.
And what time is this? 12. Okay, so it'll be 25 minutes. We're gonna look at this. We do trainings. Like one thing is what the community looks like when the resident managers and stuff go home. Like it's a different look in the communities, and so we took a snapshot of a few, and we showed the people who really can't believe that like this is actually what goes on. So we want to show that. We're going to talk about like if it's authentic. If you think that that's what it really looks like.
Excuse me. Can I light up, please?
Yeah.